Welcome back. The Union Cabinet yesterday approved the designation of classical languages status for Marathi, Pali, Prakrit, Assamese and Bengali. These languages now join 6 others that have already been given that status. This tag is meant to promote these languages, their cultural preservation, academic research and the overall recognition of linguistic heritage. Now, while this announcement was well received and welcomed by all, there were some parties that seemed to take credit. That credit war played out specifically in 2 states, Maharashtra and West Bengal. Congress put out a chronology of events to show how the Maharashtra Congress was spearheading this movement to declare Marathi as a classical language for years together, but only now has the government done so. Bear in mind, Maharashtra is a state that goes to elections in less than 2 months. Meanwhile, in West Bengal, Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said that they have been trying to snatch this recognition from Ministry of Culture for a long time and their request was finally acceded to. So while we have this one war play out over 5 languages getting this particular tag, the question we want to ask here on Plain Speak is who is rushing to claim credit?
बंगाल मराठी बोलने वाले मराठी भाषियों को, असमिया भाषा बोलने वाले लोगों को और पाली और प्राकृत भाषा बोलने वाले लोगों को ये तोहफे के रूप में दिया है।
এর মধ্যেই মনে রাখতে হবে আমরা 1 বছর অপেক্ষা করে থাকি মা কখন আসবেন।
ये भाषा को आप सम्मान देना चाहिए, अभिजात भाषा का हमारी मांग रही और लगभग राज्य की सभी पार्टी के नेताओं ने, मुख्यमंत्रियों ने, सरकारों ने मांग अब तक 30-35 साल से ये मांग करते आए।
Let me open this up. Charul Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, continues to be with us. Sushmita Dev, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the TMC, joins us. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on Plain Speak. Sushmita Dev, I want to begin by asking you. We saw Mamata Banerjee's social media post on X. She says, we're glad that this has happened, but we had to snatch this from the government of India, from the Culture Ministry. What did she mean by that?
The meaning is very clear. On 11th of January 2024, she had written to the Prime Minister asking the Home Minister to recognize Bengali as a classical language. Because it is not just her demand, but the demand of crores of people who speak Bengali. And now that it has been given by the Government of India in the recent cabinet decision, so we definitely feel that our demand had to play a very important role in creating the pressure or highlighting the matter with the Government of India. And I think she's right in saying that because this government has been in power for 10 years and now they are in their last term, but their 3rd term rather, but they never thought of doing this. The last time that some languages of the southern states got recognition as classical languages was when the UPA was in power, I think 2015. Many of the South Indian languages got it. But in the last 10 years, the Modi government never considered giving any other or adding to that list. It is Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister of Bengal and the only Bengali Chief Minister who pursued this and impressed upon the government to do it. And we are very happy that it has been done.
Charul Pragya, for the last 10 years, none of any of these languages, there was a 6-language list. There was nothing, there were no additions that were made for the last 10 years. Why is that? There was pressure that was created, like TMC says, from West Bengal, like the Congress says from Maharashtra, which is why we see these 2 languages in the list of the 5 languages that have now been added. Charul Pragya, I believe you're on mute.
My apologies. I am very glad that these 5 exceptional languages have been granted the status of classical languages. They're very important to the Indian culture, context and people. But let me give you a little bit of history about Mamata Didi since we have Sushmita ji on the show with us. Mamata Didi was a part of the UPA from 2004 and 14 till 14. And she became the Chief Minister of Bengal in 2011. Now, let me tell you, when the status of classical language was given to Malayalam, 2013, why didn't Didi demand the same status for Bengali back then? After that, classical status was given to Odia in 2014. Why did Mamta Didi demand for it in for Bengali back then? Why is it that suddenly she is waking up and trying to take political credit for something which has been in the pipeline and which the people of Bengal deserve? Please don't try and make everything so highly political. Now, let me also tell you that since we mentioned Marathi, UPA regime, Shiv Sena and BJP had asked the Congress to make Marathi as a classical language. UPA was in power for over 10 years. Why didn't they consider this request then? Please explain that to me. The proposal has been pending. There were certain revisions done to the criteria of making a language classical, and now 5 precious languages have been given the status. Explain to me why, Shushmita ji, Mamta Didi did not think of asking for this. Now she talks about a 10-year struggle, but you have essentially been part of the ruling dispensation from 2004 to 14 and been a chief minister since 2011. What were you doing for all these years? Why must you try and snatch political credit for every single thing which belongs to the people of India, which is done by the government of India? Don't try and continue to divide the people in the name of language, region, religion, etc., etc. Maharashtrian shouldn't do it and Bengali shouldn't do it.
Sushmita Dev, this is just the TMC trying to claim credit but didn't do what they should have done when they had the opportunity, is what the BJP said. This was a response that came to the fore right after Mamta Banerjee put out that social media post as well. This is also an allegation that the BJP and TMC have traded on multiple other issues, including the legacy of Netaji Bose.
See, I'll tell you something, Poonam. What is important is not the timing of Mamata Di's letter and why she didn't write it during the UPA time. What is actually more critical is the timing of Prime Minister Modi in taking this decision now when Maharashtra is going to election, which he's going to lose. He's had a embarrassing defeat in Bengal and is now going to face by-elections in Bengal. So he uses his cabinet decisions for electoral gains in states where defeat is absolutely imminent. I mean, doors are shutting on Prime Minister Modi, and how? I mean, you will see that tomorrow when the exit poll comes out for Haryana, that they are basically going to have a humiliating defeat in Haryana. And you will see that in Maharashtra and Bengal, Maharashtra elections and Bengal elections, BJP doesn't stand a chance. If now let us assume that Prime Minister Modi has a lot of pain in his heart for the language Bengali, I want to ask Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister of India that when UNESCO declared Shantini Ketan as a World Heritage Site, they had the audacity to put a plaque there where Prime Minister Modi, who has absolutely no history in Bengal or doing anything for Bengal, puts his own name and the Vice Chancellor's name and takes out Tagore's name. In Amit Shah's rally, they break the Ishwarchand statue. I mean, this is their respect for Bengal and Bengalis. And I can go on and on and on how Prime Minister Modi does not do a single thing, keeping public interest, language, community, caste, anything in mind. He has a one-point program. That's why we call him a Prachar Mantri and not a Pradhan Mantri. So before election, Modi will do anything and sell his soul for votes, but it's not going to work in Maharashtra and it's not going to work in Bengal. You can be rest assured, but I'm glad that languages like Bengali, Assamese and Marathi and 2 other languages have been recognized. It was needed. It was much needed. Because all these languages have a very deep root, and Mamta Didi in her letter actually submitted 4 volumes of documentation to prove why Bengali should be a classical language. But Prime Minister Modi has done this only for some browning points in Maharashtra and the upcoming by-elections in Assam and Bengal, which he's going to lose very badly, rest assured.
Can I come in, Poonam?
Go ahead, Charu Pragya.
Unfortunately, Shushmita ji found no reason to explain why since 2004 Till today, Mamta Didi did not see fit to write the same letter. She was in power, madam. She became a chief minister. Why did she not see fit to talk about the Bengali language and its deep roots then? Why must you speak in such political language all the time? And now you're talking about the elections in Maharashtra. Are there elections in Assam? Are there elections in Bengal?
Yes, there is.
Land of elections.
There is
No, no, no.
by-election. Madam, check your facts.
Elections happen in
Check
our
your
country
facts.
once a year. Every single year we have elections in 4 or 5 states. If you are going to make elections an excuse for every single decision that is taken, then I think you're far wiser than that. Then it didn't have to be taken, the decision didn't have to be taken for all the languages. Pali and Prakrit are a part of this. By-elections have been happening across the country. So please, now your explanations make no sense. Yes, you want to snatch political credit, but you're behaving in the exact same way you behaved during the controversy that emerged for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. During all your time in power, you never thought it important to give him any importance. Whether it is in Andaman and Nicobar or in your own state, you never saw it fit to give his family the honor they deserve. Today, you want to jump up and down and claim credit because it pains you that Prime Minister Modi is able to take the steps that none of you even thought about for all these decades.
Sushmita Dev, that question about why this letter wasn't written, why these volumes of research material was not given to the central government or to the culture ministry, that's a question that the BJP has been asking. It's asked that of the Congress party as well, as far as Maharashtra is concerned. But is it always an election prism that any decision should be looked at from? And it's not just the BJP that we're speaking of. Any central government then would be accused of doing the same thing, because all of these decisions that are taken periodically, and some or the other election would be around the corner.
No, Poonam, I don't think I buy that argument. I'll tell you why. Because this government has been in power for 10 years. Okay? And if you notice, this is a phenomena which Prime Minister Modi always does as a bait for elections. See, if they truly cared about the people who speak in Bengali, okay? Bengali is a way of life in West Bengal. See, you think about it. It has been a saga of deprivation. They have deprived Bengal of NREGS money. They have deprived Bengal of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. They tried to malign Bengal with all sorts of propaganda before the Lok Sabha election, but it didn't work. It simply didn't work, because I will tell you what, the problem with the Bharatiya Janata Party and the RSS is they want one nation, one election, one uniform, one language, one kind of food, and the imposition of Hindi has been a huge controversy in the South. That's what they are infamous for, the Bharatiya Janata Party. So a party which does not believe in diversity, which does not believe in pluralism, which does not believe in inclusivity does it. I'm sorry, I will connect it to the elections. I mean, even your common sense and being a journalist, you should know that Prime Minister Modi is fearing defeat in these states. It's an imminent defeat. So these are all underhand, tricks that he's trying, which is not going to work. Now, I ask you one thing. If you are so bothered about the Bengali language and you truly respect and love it, and maximum number of Bengali people if you talk about one state, the concentration is in West Bengal. Tell me one thing. In the NDA government 3, have they bothered giving a single cabinet minister from Bengal? Not a single cabinet minister come from Bengal. Abhijit Ganguly says people who say Joy Bangla have conjunctivitis. Is this a pro-Bengali statement? To say that divide North Bengal, that divide, please separate North Bengal from the rest of Bengal. Is that a pro-Bengali statement? Who am I quoting? I'm quoting BJP members of parliament. So this is a party which will go to any length with any tricks, with a recognition for this and recognition for that. You're talking about Netaji. May I remind you that the Jadavpur MP in the 16th Lok Sabha, in which I was also there, was a descendant of Netaji Shwagato Bose. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Quick question for you. Again and again, you're stressing about so-called by-elections in West Bengal. Where are by-elections happening, madam? Why are you misquoting on national television?
My
Are
God,
you even aware
this is
of
basic
happening?
knowledge.
Where is it happening? Tell me the name of the constituency. There are no by-elections in West Bengal. They just happened a couple of months ago. Why don't you Google
Okay,
and tell me the name where elections are happening in West Bengal? Please tell me.
Please
Tell me.
understand. Okay,
And then apologize.
let me just give you one name.
Where's the
Okay,
by-election happening in West
Barrackpur. Just hear me out before you further go down this argument, because Barrackpur MLA, just to give you one example, contested the Lok Sabha election, defeated your candidate of the BJP,
Wow,
Arjun
now
Singh.
we're
Just let me
talking about
finish.
Okay, Charu Pragya, let her I don't have much time on this. Charu Pragya, let her finish. I'll come back to you for your rebuttal. 30 seconds, Sushmita Dev.
I think everybody who's involved in politics knows that all the MLAs who contested in the Lok Sabha election, just to give you one example, madam, Barrackpur, where Arjun Singh was defeated, and our minister Partho Babu won, seats like that, including in Assam, Bihali, etc. These are all going for by-elections. Your party is campaigning. Just go on Google and see. They are all busy campaigning. November by-elections are due in the states of all these states where
Sure.
MLAs have contested and gone to Lok Sabha.
Sure. So, Sushmita Dev, the point that is being made.
This has been timed accordingly.
Sure, it's all a part of political strategy of the BJP, Charu Pragya, and this is not the first time that allegation has been made against the BJP. It's made ever so often.
Yes, exactly. So that's the funny thing, Poonam. Now there are 5 languages. 5 languages. Okay, there are 3 of these from 3 different states in India. Elections are not happening in all these 3 states. TMC MP has named one Vidhan Sabha constituency because by-elections have happened in June, July already. She's well aware of that. Now, if you want to politicize everything, that is the color you're going to use to paint everything. You are talking about, painting everything with the same color. You actually represent a political party which is regional, which speaks in one language, which exists in one state of the country. And you're talking about inclusivity to a political party which is everywhere, from the hills of Nagaland to the islands of Lakshadweep. You're actually telling a political party which spans nationally, performs nationally, wins nationally because of its agenda of inclusivity only.
Whether this is going to be a political decision, whether that was the motive of it, whether it's going to pay dividends or not, we'll find out sooner than later. Maharashtra is one such state which goes to elections in less than 2 months. But the credit war is not a new one. We've seen this between parties multiple occasions in the last 10 years. It is an allegation that the BJP often faces, often firefights as well. Unfortunately, I have to leave it at that. I don't have much time here, but I thank you both for joining us here on this broadcast and sharing your perspective. Slipping into a quick break on this edition of Plain Speak, but on the other side, we'll get you the big story that is going to take place in our neighborhood. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is going to be in Pakistan this month. This is for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Will he expose Pakistan in their own backyard? That's the question we want to ask.